Good morning, everyone. I'm Daniel Rausch.
And I'm Katie Rausch.
We got married on January 16th, 2015, and began coming to Radiant Life Church in 2018.
So Daniel and I got together in March of 2013, and then January of 2015 we were married. When we first got together, I had my son Carson, who had just turned 5, and I let Daniel know that he needed a role model in his life, a good father figure, to show him right from wrong, and just how to grow up in this world. And from then on, he has been the perfect role model, I have to say. But it was also understood that he was perfectly fine with Carson, but he didn't want to try for any other kids of his own. Right?
Yeah, I accepted the role of becoming a parent to Carson. Through the love that I had for him and Katie, we eventually decided to get married after some dating. It was a big change for me coming from college and being the personality that I am, which many of you don't see at church. Quiet myself that I am.
That's changed.
But it has been a fun adventure, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
And so then, whenever he told me, or whenever you told me that you didn't want any kids, I said, well, one day that's going to change, and he assured me that it wouldn't. But I assured him it would. But fast forward to October of 2017, he came to me and he decided that he wanted to try for a child of his own. And I could not believe it then, that he actually was ready. And that's where all this adventure started. So once Daniel and I had decided that we wanted to try for a child of our own together, we decided it was best to sit down with Carson and let him know what things we were thinking. Life for us was going to change and life for Carson was going to change. So we definitely want to make sure that he was involved from the beginning with this big decision. So actually November of 2017 is when I first became pregnant, which we were thrilled. We were also surprised at how quickly that happened. But I was pregnant, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Carson and I were the only ones home, and I took a pregnancy test, and that line slowly turned blue, and Carson and I both were looking at it, couldn't believe what happened, and decided to go buy probably about 5 more tests just to confirm that what we were seeing was true. And we ended up getting Daniel a card. It was a big deal. Carson knew that in his heart too, that it was a big deal, not just for him, not just for me, but for Daniel too. And so we celebrated this pregnancy. And it was amazing to see the shock and the excitement on Daniel's face as well. However, shortly after that, in December of 2017 is when we experienced our first miscarriage. We were up at Liberty Hospital and went up there to see if that was truly what was happening, and it was confirmed that it was. And at that point, we had to have that discussion with Carson as to what was happening and why it was happening to the best that we could explain. So that was definitely a big disappointment for all of us, and something that was pretty hard to go through. In January of 2018, that's when I started coming to Radiant Life Church. I came there for other reasons. However, I didn't know how much I would need this family that I had just gained. Shortly after that, I became pregnant in March of 2018, and we actually ended up having a miscarriage with that pregnancy as well. And little did we know that the 2 other pregnancies after that we would lose. Which was tough. However, I opened up to some ladies within the church for some prayer. That was a hard thing for me to do, to reach out and ask for prayer with such a delicate situation. I remember being angry with God at that time, wondering, was something wrong with me? Was something wrong with my husband? Why did we keep losing these pregnancies? That was a total of 4 pregnancies that we had lost, and we were finally so excited to get to expand on our family, and it just wasn't happening. Was it something with him and I together? Like, are we not supposed to have kids? And all these things running through my mind. But of course, through prayer and, conversation with some ladies within the church, one thing that kept being told to me was, it's according to his will, to God's will. It's all in his timing, which that was a hard pill to swallow. What was the point of all of these miscarriages happening, and why was he allowing this to happen, is what was going through my mind. September 9th of 2018 was actually the date of my last miscarriage. And after that, we had actually made an appointment to go into my OBGYN, and we were going to start doing testing to find out, was there something going on with myself, or was there something going on with Daniel that wasn't allowing these pregnancies to continue on. So Sunday, September 30th of 2018 was a Sunday that is stuck in my mind forever. I was up front with Stacy, where I normally always sat, and worshiping, and just really in the presence of the Lord like I hadn't been before. I was so tired and so upset with everything that continued to happen that I just decided it was time to give it all to him. And I specifically remember, the worship team, they're playing the song Miracles by Carrie Job. And that's what we were praying for. We were praying for this miracle to happen over and over and over again, just praising and asking God according to his will, please, this miracle, bring it into our family. And so shortly afterwards, Robin, she came up to me, but it took her a little while to be able to come up to me during that service. She had known what our family had been going through, and she knows it's quite a sensitive topic. But whenever she did come up to me, she said, God's been telling me over and over that I need to come tell you something. And she said it took her about 5 times, but she finally, was obedient and came over and relayed the message to me, which was, are you ready? Because it's time. And that to me I was blown away, So I only did the most logical thing I could think of, which was go home and buy a huge pack of pregnancy tests off of Amazon. Which then, a few days later, Wednesday, after that service, which was October 3rd, 2018, I found out I was pregnant. I was barely pregnant, but the line was there. So I called my OB office and I told them, I think I'm pregnant. So they had me come on in. We did the blood work, and 2 days later we found out that it was only at a 3.5. So that would mean that technically to them I wasn't considered to be pregnant. We drew the blood work again. That Monday my numbers doubled, and then we drew the blood work again. My numbers went up significantly from there, and they continued to do so with the next draws that we did. So it was confirmed that we were pregnant. And I remember sitting there crying, thinking, my goodness, God is so good. And I told Daniel, I said, you know what this means. Robin's message to us was true. God, there were so many things that happened before we found out that we were pregnant. I think that we just needed to get through, and then God was letting us know, hey, it's time. And so actually the date that we used for my pregnancy was the date of my last miscarriage. So September 9th, 2018 was the date that we used to calculate the due date for this pregnancy. So it turned out being that the date of our loss was also the date of our gain for our greatest miracle. So the pregnancy, I can say, was not a very easy one. However, we made it through. Fast forward, our due date was actually Father's Day. So June 16th, 2019, which I thought was kind of cool. However, Kinsley was born 3 weeks prior to that via induction, and she was 7 pounds, 1 ounce, 19 and a quarter inches long, and just a happy, healthy baby.
It's truly been a blessing having Kinsley. I remember the moment we were in there and we were waiting, and they asked me if I wanted to cut the umbilical cord, and I had said no at the beginning, but the doctor was under a rush and handed me the scissors and said, "Cut here," and I felt like I'd never used scissors in my life before, shaking, but I did it, and it was awesome, and I got over there, and I just felt from that moment that she came out that there was a spirit that came down and just wrapped us up in a blanket and said, "You're going to be okay. This is the path that I've chosen for you guys to grow this child and provide for her and make sure that, because something truly special I believe is going to happen with this child." I mean, it's just a miracle, everything that we've been through and the roller coaster it was getting here. But I truly believe in my heart that something special will happen with this special little girl that we have.
Yes, and I mean, just as Daniel said, this roller coaster has been just that, this ride of ups and downs. And I think one thing that came out of it also was the fact that us together as husband and wife and as a family, we have grown together even more so spiritually, and we recognize the power of prayer, and we recognize that while things might be hard, according to God's will, and we have to really bend to that. I mean, it can be hard, but each pregnancy that we lost, we know that those babies are up with Him, and one day we'll be reunited with them. However, God is so good and working miracles in so many ways. Daniel is now attending church with us, so that is exciting. And our family is coming together in so many ways that I couldn't even imagine. So our family is beyond blessed for this miracle that we have been blessed with. It's amazing to see Carson and the role that he has taken on as a big brother. He loves his sister, more than words can describe. He is kind, and he's showing her, each step of the way, what this world is all about. He also has, learned through all of this the value of life, and what it takes to bring a child into this world, and how important it is to take each day as a day to thank God for. Kinsley, she's amazing. She is absolutely amazing.
She's definitely a bundle of joy. That's what I would say. She is always happy, always moving. We haven't mastered the car seat yet. She definitely doesn't like car rides. Constrained, can't see everything. But everybody there notices her, and as you can always see, she's always looking around, always observing. She's like a sponge in a bathtub. She's learning her environment. And that's the great part about it, right? We always know that children are a miracle and a blessing, and we want them to be as great as we can make them, which is the best part about being a parent, is that you can mold them and teach them what you want them to do right. And one thing that we definitely want her to learn is the family and the partnership at Radiant Life Church. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank everybody there. You all are great. You all have been great to us as a family, and everything that you've done for us. I've always told Catherine that she's the backbone of the relationship, and even as strong as she is, she's definitely leaned on you guys and depended on you, and I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Everything that you have done for this family, you've made her a better mom, a better wife, just a better family in general, as everything has opened up my eyes to the world around us, and made it just so much brighter to know that there is so much out there going right for us, and that there is people out there that do care. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all of you.